happen. So tonight we are going to be talking about occult group, occult people, occult powers. So many people are passing through hell because of all these occult people with their powers. And their powers is never a power gotten from God. It is always a power given to them by the devil himself, not even those agents of darkness, by the devil himself. And we have so many occult groups in the world. We have so many of them. They are uncountable. So many of them can even pretend to be like a gathering of the children of God, like a church. There are some places or some churches that you will enter and you are not even sure if you are in the church anymore. Except maybe when they start singing praises. A lot of people, a lot of occult people are now in the church. That is where they operate from. To deceive people, to confuse people. Majority of them are the pillars of the church. Majority of all these occult people are the pillars of the church. They donate. They see to the building of everything that needs to be built in the church. They donate generously to the church. And through their donation, there is no way the pastor or the priest in charge can ever detect if they belong to the occult group. Their money will blindfold whoever and whoever is near them. Their money will blindfold you, that you will find it difficult to believe that they belong to the occult group. These people are the people that the church can boast of. The church boasts with these people because the church believes that it is through their prayers that these people are successful in life, without knowing that these people are successful through their occult group. Their powers, whatever they possess, whatever they have, they got it all from their group. But because they donate generously to the church believes that it is through the prayers that takes place in the church that these people are made successful. But it's not true. If you are a powerful man of God in the church, and if you want to be true to yourself, and if you want to answer your call the way that God has called you without fear or favor, you will be able to detect those members of the church who are in a cult group. These members, if you want to know those who are actually in this occult group, doesn't mean that whoever that donates to church is a member. No, I'm going to give you examples on how you can detect these people who are in occult group. In the church, apart from the donations they make, they are equally like what do I call them? They are the pillars, the builders of the church. Their decisions are always the final decision. And the priest, the pastor, doesn't mind following whatever they say. And when you look at them and you see the way they behave, you think that they mean well for the children of God. You think they mean well for the church of God. No, they don't. It is actually another means of them getting members to join them in their occult group. Now, if you want to know those who are actually in this occult group, every Sunday, everybody goes to church on Sundays. As Christians that we are, we all attend churches on Sundays. In Catholic Church, we call it the Mass. In other churches, they call it the Sunday service. Everybody attends. Even a native doctor can attend a Sunday service. And nothing will happen to anybody. Nothing. But if you want to know those who are in occult group, just arrange for a very serious prayer that can take place for like 2 days or 3 days. A very serious prayer. You will hardly find these people when the prayer starts. You will hardly find them. Whenever such prayer starts, it's either that they will come late to that program or they won't come at all and they will give excuses. It's either that they will travel or that something came up that will prevent them from attending the program. These people will never attend any program in the church that has to do with serious prayers. When I mean serious prayers, I mean like it's just like in Catholic Church. Someone walking into where in the gathering of charismatic renewal, you walking into their gathering and they're praying. If you belong to the occult group and you happen to be in their midst, when the prayer starts, You have no choice but to voice out who you are. You must confess. Because the prayer will be too hot for you that you cannot stay there. That is how the charismatics pray. They pray without fear. They pray to cast out demons. That is their mission. That is their work. They pray to cast out demons, to defeat demons. You will not find these occultic people in that group. They can come to church. They can receive Holy Communion. They can do whatever they like on Sundays or any other days, but they will find it difficult to attend all these serious prayers. Now, there are so many families who have these occult people in their midst. It's quite unfortunate that so many of us do not believe it. You can see a family of 5, a family of 6, or a family of 4, and 2 out of the siblings or 1 out of the siblings will belong to an occultic group. But the rest of the siblings will never believe. Even if you tell them, they will never believe. And when you meet such people in this type of family, where 1 person or 2 people are in occult group, I want you to watch those people who belong to this satanic group. When you watch them closely, you will notice that they are more successful than the rest. They are more successful than the rest. They are way higher, they move forward before every other person. And most of the times, their decision is always the final decision in the family because of their wealth, because of their status in the society. But some of the siblings may not be aware that either of them is an occult group. And when these siblings who are in occult group, if you happen to be in that kind of family, you will have to be very careful. That is, if you ever know that one of you is a member of the occult group. These people will find it difficult to render help even to their own blood, to that their sibling. They will find it difficult to render help to their siblings. That is why you will see 4 people in a family. One will become, let me use like a senator, for example. One person is a senator, and you think that the senator will lift every other person up. No. When you go to that family, you still notice that somebody in that family doesn't even have any job. Meanwhile, you have a brother or a sister who is in the Senate, and that your brother or sister cannot give you a job. You can even see their parents still struggling to feed. Meanwhile, they have a son or a daughter who is in the Senate. The rest of the siblings will be struggling. It doesn't mean that when you are in a Senate or whatever position you find yourself, whatever you gather, that you should provide all of them for your family. No. But there is something I believe in. Teaching people how to fish instead of giving them fish. But these people in occult group will not teach you how to fish, not to talk of giving you that fish. They will always want you to come and beg. They will always want you to be visiting them from time to time. They will always want you to be running one errand or the other for them. You will always be at their beck and call. They will make use of you like their slave. But at the end of the day, they will not give you something tangible to set you up. This is how you will know either of the sibling who belongs to an occultic group. Because these groups, majority of these groups that they belong in, these groups forbids them from rendering help to that immediate family members. Even though one of their primary assignments is on charity, they do this charity outside to people who do not know anything about them. They do a lot of charity outside to people who do not know anything about them because they gain more. They gain more from that charity work. What they gain is greater than what they give to people outside. And since they cannot gain from their siblings, that means they will not help their siblings. They find it difficult lifting their siblings up. Some of them can even, even if that person is a senator, and you see a senator whose driver happens to be his or her immediate younger brother or sister, you turn your brother into your personal driver. Your brother who is a graduate, you turn him into your personal driver in the name of you helping him out. What happens to you giving him a job? What happens to you helping him set up a business? Why can't you give him something so that he will start earning, so that he will start making it. No, because you still want to monitor him, to monitor his movement. That is why you give him the job of a personal driver, your own blood, your own sibling. But you will give the position of a PA to a stranger instead of giving that PA to your brother, because they know that when they give the position of the PA to their sibling, their immediate sibling, they will pay them the exact amount that is worthy of a PA, and such money can set someone up. You become somebody in life. But no, you will not become that somebody. You will always be under them. Their decision is always final. Whatsoever they say is what you do. This is how you can identify families where they have occult people. They find it difficult lifting their family members. And these people, when they want to help you, like you, the stranger who needs their help, and you approach them and you want them to help you financially, even if they have 10 million naira with them, as at the time you are talking to them that you need a financial help, even if they have 10 million naira with them, they won't even give you a transport fare from that money. They will not do that. They will ask you to go and come back. Even if you don't have any money to transport yourself back to your house, they will still not give you anything. Yeah, because they haven't prepared that money. They haven't prepared it. And if you're expecting them to do transfer, like to transfer that money to you into your account, they will not do it. They will always want to give you cash. That is how they operate. These occult people prefers giving cash to people instead of transferring. And when they're going to give you that cash, assuming you request for the sum of 5 million naira or you requested for the sum of 10 million naira, they are ready to give you that money in cash at the appointed time that they ask you to come for it. Because by the time you come back for that money must have been sacrificed to the deity that they are worshiping. Majority of these occult groups worships devil himself, that's Satan. Majority of them worship Satan. So when you request for money, they'll ask you to go and come back in a week's time, in 2 weeks' time. And so they will get that money ready. They will sacrifice that money to the deity. And when you come, they will gladly give you that money wholeheartedly. And you being naive, not knowing anything about occult group, you will collect the money with all your heart. And the next thing is for you to start making use of that money. If you have ever noticed anybody who has ever received any gift from someone in occult, that gift that you received, that money will never yield anything for you, because that money has already been sacrificed to the god that they are worshiping. So when you take that money into business or into whatever you want to do in order to make ends meet, take a closer look at that thing that you are doing. Before you know it, the whole thing will crash. Assuming you start up a business, before 1 year, that business will crash completely. You will fold up and you won't even have any money to start up again. This is why that money is actually not meant for you to succeed. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to rise, because the moment you rise, you no longer be paying homage to them. Because as you pay homage to them, you are actually worshiping that deity, that God that they believe in. You are actually paying homage to that deity. And most of the times, they are doing these things to keep all those people under their control. Because one day, if God is not on your side, one day you will be their next sacrifice. They don't care whether you are their sibling. They don't care whether you are their parents. They do not care. As long as you do not belong to that same occult group that they believe in, you are not their blood. You are not their brother. They regard those in the same occult group as their brothers and sisters. And that is why they help each other like they are helping their own blood siblings. They help each other more. But to help their family members is always a bigger problem for them. They cannot do it because it's not part of the assignment given to them. The assignment given to them is to subdue you, to put you under them, to make sure that they crush your pride and everything. And if care is not taken, if God is not on your side, you will still become the next sacrifice. So many young boys and young girls, if you have ever taken notice of this thing, so many of them who are no more, actually were under the help of their siblings. These their siblings will train them in school, from the primary school to the university, and then eventually will get a job for them. But maybe 1 month into that job or 2 months into the job, the next thing you will hear is that the young man or the young girl is no more, that they've passed away. And the moment they use you as a sacrifice, I want you to watch the burial of the person that they used as a sacrifice. They will give you that thing called a befitting burial. They will give you a befitting burial. You can see the high and mighty attend the burial of a commoner, all because of one of them. That is what they can do for you. The only thing they can do for you. So many young boys and young girls have actually gone without, through this way, without the family members knowing what actually happened. A lot of young boys and young girls, in the quest to make money, have submitted themselves to their uncles, to their aunts, who are so wealthy, who are so rich. I'm not saying that whoever is rich is in occult. I'm trying to tell us how you can identify these people. They have submitted themselves to their uncles and aunts. And tomorrow, the next thing you will be hearing is, this my uncle has hijacked my future. This my uncle has tampered with my destiny. This my aunt has tampered with my future. This and that. And people will call them ingrates, call them all sorts of names. But instead of calling them names, it is better for you to investigate. And the investigation is not a physical investigation. Because when you investigate physically, you will equally call them ingrates. You investigate spiritually to find out if what they are saying is actually true. But most of the time, because all these people complaining doesn't have anything, they don't have money, they don't have anybody to speak for them. Even if they complain, even if you get that answer correct, nobody will still want to talk, because the other person is wealthy, the other person is rich. A lot of families are in this mess. So many of them are in this mess. But because of the poverty, because of the hardship, because of the situation of things in so many families, they've decided to blindfold their eyes. As long as this person has made it, no problem. Let's become his or her slaves so that he or she will lift us up. And in 10 years and in 20 years coming, you will never get up anywhere as long as you are still under that same person. Except when you decide to liberate yourself, to set yourself free. Now, how do you set yourself free from these people? If you notice that anybody you know, be it your sibling, be it your friend, your relative, if you notice that anybody you know is in an occultic group, and this person, you are close to this person, and this person has been rendering help to you, but ever since this person has been rendering help to you, you have actually gained nothing. If you ever notice that, the first thing you are supposed to do is to distance yourself from such person. You don't have to go and fight the person because you don't have any evidence. You don't have any physical evidence. And spiritual evidences are not accepted anywhere. A lot of people will even call you mad. They'll say that you are going mental, that you are insane. Spiritual evidences are not accepted. So the best thing for you to do is to distance yourself from these people. And even if they decide on their own to offer help to you, maybe to give you money for business, it's either you reject that money, or even if you are going to accept the money, when you accept the money, before you make use of that money, no matter the amount that they have given you, because they will never do any transfer, any bank transfer. They will never do that. They will always want to give you that money in cash. So whenever you get that money from them, instead of going into business immediately or buying whatever you want to buy immediately, I want you to pray over that money. Pray over the whole money before you remove even a single currency. Pray over the money. After praying, Take out just one currency from that money, just one. Take that currency to the church. Drop it inside the offering box. Or you can drop it at the altar of God. Just drop it there. And then take some money from that money given to you again and give to the poor, to the less privileged ones, and ask them to pray for you. Once you do this, I bet you, whatever you do with that money will prosper. You will succeed. Because God's power must surely come down on that money. But when you don't do this, you receive the huge amount of money, and out of excitement, you decide to start spending immediately, to use it to start up a business or buy what you want, whatever. Before you know it, the whole money will just vanish, and you can't really tell what you actually did with the money. And the next thing is for these people to call you names, that you have squandered the money that they gave to you, that you are of no good. They'll tell the world how you squandered their money, how you couldn't do anything, how you couldn't make something meaningful out of your life. So the best thing for you to do is to stay away from these people. Do not accept gifts from them. If they give you cash, if possible, do not accept. But if you want to accept, do this. And even if they want to give you money, force them to do a bank transfer. They will never do it. I want you to try this. If you have anybody that belongs to such things, force them to do a bank transfer for you. They will not do that bank transfer. Some of them will tell you that they don't know what, all these mobile apps, they don't like it. They don't operate it. They prefer going to the bank. But then they are too tired. They cannot go to the bank. They will give you such excuses because they want to hand that money into your hands so that you will start spending the money immediately. And after spending that money, you will still come back requesting for more money because you didn't make anything out of the one given to you. See, when a lot of people who are in this occult group, you will never ever notice why. They are the most lovely people on earth. They are the ones that can give you a listening ear. When you are crying, they'll give you their shoulders to cry on. They'll pat you at the back. They will promise you heaven and earth. You will love them. And so there won't be any room for you to suspect them. They are doing all those things to make sure that they win you to themselves. These are the people who are in occult group. And we have so many of these occult groups. There is, in my family, there is actually someone that I've been suspecting. Although at one point in time, I believe that this person is just hardworking. It is her hard work that is paving way for her. So I just convinced myself that she's actually hardworking. So there's no point suspecting her. But all these things that I just mentioned is just what she is and how she behaves. Now, the reason why I concluded that she is one of them is because I have the gift of dreams. And I saw her asking me for help, that she needs help, that I have to help her, and that help is so urgent. And then she drew a symbol on a paper and gave to me. I looked at the symbol. I didn't know what the symbol was. Okay, so when I woke up, I was so confused, not knowing what to do. I decided to go online because I have that symbol up in my head. I decided to go online. I searched through Google, searching for that symbol. There were so many occult symbols, so many of them that you will find online. But I took out my time to search for that symbol, the exact symbol that I saw, because that was my first time of seeing such symbol. And actually, it was there in the Google. And when I clicked on it, what Google wrote there was that those who belong to that occult group are the devil worshippers, that they actually worship the devil himself. Can you see that? I have never seen that symbol in my life, not even for once. But I saw it in the dream and I recognized it. So when I woke up, I decided to Google, to search for that symbol. And Google brought out so many types of occult symbols. And there was that symbol there, with the description that those belonging to that occult group actually worship the devil himself, Lucifer. So my own conclusion is that actually she needs help. She actually needs help. Maybe she doesn't want to be a member anymore, and that's why she's now requesting for help. But until then, because this is something that will have to manifest physically, I will have to wait until when she decides to come out openly, and then we'll know how to handle things. But my reason for bringing up this topic is so many people are complaining of downfall, downfall, downfall. Whatever they do, they don't succeed. You visit a wealthy man and the man will give you money from the bottom of his heart. You go into the business and that business will crash. And you even go back to square zero. Even if you were in square one, you will now go back to square zero. And then you will now become a slave to this person because you will always be frequenting this person's house, asking for one help or another. So how do you defeat these occultic people? How do you defeat them? First, you will have to stay away from them. Now, for you to defeat them, assuming that you now know that this person belongs to an occult group, and this person now knows that you already know, definitely the moment they discover that you are aware of who they are and where they belong, they will always want to attack you. And their attacks is mainly a spiritual attack. It can never be a physical attack because there won't be any reason for them. There's no reason for them to tell people that this is why they are attacking you physically. They will go spiritual. First, they will want to come closer to you to let you know how good they are. They can even start going to church, become a serious member of the church just to confuse you, to make you believe that they're actually a child of God. And before you know it, if care is not taken, you will believe that they have changed, and that is when they will attack you spiritually. And if they want to attack you spiritually, they will attack you from all angles. They will attack your health. They will attack your finances. They will attack your happiness. They will attack your home. This is how these occult people work. So the only way you can defeat these occult people when they start attacking you spiritually is through prayers. You have to be very prayerful this time around. There is nothing like this person pray for me, somebody is attacking me. You yourself will have to be very prayerful. And your prayers, when you want to defeat these people, then you will have to be constant with midnight prayers. Midnight prayer is not easy. It's not what anybody can be doing every day. But at least once in a week, you go into midnight prayer. Because the moment you lie down to sleep, these people do not sleep. They are always awake. When you lie down to sleep at night, they are awake. That is when they are operating. By morning, when you awake, they can now sleep. So you yourself, you have to be awake all the time. Through prayers, you can defeat them. Through prayers, you can create that barrier so that they will not penetrate to attack you. Through prayers, even if there is any spiritual exercise that needs to be done to prevent them. Yes, it is equally not something you can do. It is something that someone powerful, spiritualist, whoever can do for you. But prayer remains the ultimate. Prayer remains the ultimate. Use the word of God. Use psalms when you are praying to attack them, mainly midnight prayers. And if you happen to know their names, make sure you mention their names whenever you are praying. This is the only way that you can defeat them. You will make them stay away from you. They will find it difficult to penetrate and attack you because they know that your prayer will now create a barrier. Your prayer will now become like that wall of fire around you, preventing them from harming you. So I want you all to be careful wherever you are. Be careful. This season, so many of them will be coming home. A lot of them. And for you young guy who has been seeking for a job, you know that this your uncle can help you. You young lady who has been asking for money for business, or you want someone to pay your school fees, you know that this your uncle or your aunt is coming back. I want you to be careful. Extremely careful. Your uncle, your aunt who is in an occult group is not your God and can never be your God. They don't have to detect your life for you. They don't have to tell you how to run your things. But when you make yourself less, when you subject yourself to them, submit yourself to them, you become nothing before them. And then they will handle you the way they like. They can even ruin you. So you have to be very careful in life. Now that we are approaching that season, now that we are approaching the season, before you ask of anything from anybody, make sure you pray. Pray very well. God always directs us. The problem is that we don't listen. We don't hear. Even if we hear, we still don't want to put into practice. God always directs us. There are times when you will want to visit someone to request for money or for anything, and one mind will tell you no, not to go. Sometimes we get those feelings. But then when we look at, we don't have anything. How can I sit back? You move. And then you collect the money. And after, you still not make something meaningful out of that money. And people will see you as a failure, as someone who is not ready to do anything in life. People can even call you names. So let's be careful. And so many families have this type of people in their families. I know that a lot of people condemn this teaching. A lot of people say that the church is the problem. That the church will tell you that your brother, your sister is evil. That the church will tell you that your mother, your father is evil. But there is no smoke without fire. In every rumor, there is an atom of truth. Even if you don't want to take that thing that the church said, but still, you can still do your own investigation. You can still monitor everything, because all these things happen. They happen. There are parents who prefer, when they notice that this their child is stubborn, this their child is always challenging them, this their child doesn't listen to them, the next thing they do is to go and tie that child. They tie you spiritually. They control you. And when people see you, they will say that this child is the most obedient of all their children. That is because they have actually tied you. You are now, yes, you are your child, but you are now like, you've submitted yourself to them. If you're a guy and you want to get married, your parents will reject whoever that you bring into the house because they have tied you. They will want to choose someone for you, someone you don't know, someone you don't love. They will want to choose somebody for you. And they will want to run your home for you. Some parents do that. But when you tell people about this, they condemn the teaching. That how can you say that a parent is tying the child? How can you say a parent is holding the child through charms? A parent that gave birth to the child, carried the child for 9 months in the womb. That you carry the child 9 months in the womb doesn't mean that you are a saint. It doesn't mean that you are actually God's own child. So many agents of darkness are married and they have families. That you actually carry the child in the womb, gave birth to the child, nurture the child until the child grows, doesn't mean that you cannot harm the child. It doesn't mean you can't harm the child. Some of them are possessed. Some of them are in occult group. Some of them are being manipulated. But whichever way, if you notice any of such happening in your family or happening around you, you have to keep your 2 eyes open. And this is the reason why people need to be both prayerful and hardworking. It's not all about being prayerful. When you are praying, you still have to be hardworking. Go and find something doing. When you get something doing, it will be too difficult for you to depend on these people for help. Because it's only those that depends on these people for help that they can actually trap. Yes, majority of them are into charity work. A charity work that an ordinary person cannot do. But they have a mission to accomplish. And when they do that charity work, they've actually accomplished their mission. And some of them go to the extent of doing not a very small charity work. They can, some of them can even build a house for somebody because they actually need something, and you have that thing that they need. And so the only way for them to get that thing that you need is by giving you that which you desire. And when they give it to you, they collect that thing they need from you. And that which they always collect from people is greater than what they can do for you. So you have to open your spiritual eyes. You have to be very careful. For you to defeat them, it is through prayers. It is through prayers. And then you discipline yourself. Discipline yourself. Know your boundaries. Don't cross boundaries. Find something doing so that you get, you make ends meet. No matter what, find something doing as long as it's legitimate, so that you don't become a beggar before these people. Because I know a lot of people right now who are crying. A lot of people right now who are crying, pointing accusing fingers at others. But then, how do you know? Nobody wants to investigate spiritually to find out if they're actually telling the truth or not. Nobody wants to investigate. So you open your eyes. If you don't receive that help from that uncle, from that aunt, you will not die. You will not die. Get up. Do something. So many of our youth do not actually want to do anything anymore. They want to be carrying briefcase for the big man. They want to be carrying handbags for the big lady. That is what they want. That is kind of free money. Free money doesn't help anybody. Whatsoever you get free of charge always goes like a waste. Open your eyes. Be prayerful. Be prayerful. And if you have ever suspected any of these things that I just mentioned, I want you to take your time and monitor everything. Take your time. Take your time. If you are suspecting any of your sibling, I will want you to always request for something you know that sibling will not do. Something like, let us go for an all-night prayer, all-night deliverance. Let us go for deliverance. Let us go for a prayer. That your sibling will not go with you. That your sibling will tell you that he or she has a meeting to attend. Something very important came up. My business, my this, my that. Request for money, but ask your sibling to transfer the money to you. If you are suspecting that your sibling will not, even if they will transfer, they will just transfer transport fare for you. That exact amount of money that can take you to where you want to go. They won't give you that amount that can make you somebody through transfer. They want to give it to you cash. If you suspect any of your friends, always be vigilant. Always be vigilant. But mainly, you find these people in our homes. In our homes, and I want to let us know, like I said before, as long as you are not in that same occultic group with them, you are nothing to them. Even though you are from the same womb, from the same parents, you are nothing to them. It will be so easy for them to use you as a sacrifice. Yes, because they see their members as their blood brothers and sisters. That is how they run their things. They see their members as their blood brothers and sisters, not actually the people that they grew up with. So you have to be extremely careful. Extremely careful. If your brother or sister is successful in life but doesn't want to share his means of success, he doesn't want to reveal it to any of you, you know that your brother is successful, your sister is successful, you've actually asked him or her to show you the way, to tell you how he or she made it, and they keep on telling you, na God, na God. Which God are they talking about? Na God, na God. Tell them to tell you what they do to make money. Tell them that you are interested. They will not tell you. Because them telling you is like them exposing themselves to you. They will not do that. And if they refuse to share their secret with you, then stay away from them. Stay away from them. Okay? So if you have any question, I'm not going to waste time tonight. If you have any question to ask, please bring up your question. Bring up your question on this issue, on these occult people. There are so many groups, or should I say societies, that people join without knowing that such societies are actually not good for them. But then before you go deep into that society, you will realize at one point in time that you are actually at the wrong place. So the issue now is, do you still want to continue? When you notice that there are things that are not actually working out the way you want it to work out, you back off, you leave. You leave. Then there are so many other societies we have in the church. Initially, these societies are just there to help the church to grow, to help the church, to direct the church towards the right path. But of recent times, these societies are no longer what they used to be. I now see them as occultic groups. I now see them as occultic groups. I'm so sorry to say this, but this society in the Catholic Church, the knighthood is no longer the knighthood that we all know. This present generation has actually changed knighthood. No matter your age, if you want to become a member of the Knights in any Catholic church, you must have money. If you want to become a member, it's not restricted to anybody. No. If you want to become a member of the knighthood in the Catholic Church, you must have money. You must be rich because you will pay. There are people who merited it. They invite these people on their own. But for those who didn't merit it, but you want to join them, you desire to join them, you pay. And the payment is not a little amount of money. The payment is not a little amount of money. The payment is from 500,000 naira upwards. You pay to become a member. And if you have ever actually interacted with any of them, if they tell you the process that they go through before they get to that level of becoming a knight, if they tell you the process, you will discover that that process is an occultic group. It's an occultic process. But they will try to paint it to make it look nice because it's in the church. Because it's all about the church. They will make it to look good. But I've actually heard about their processes from someone who is a member of them. The person actually told me from the first step to the last stage of becoming a member of the Knights. And I told this person that what you are telling me is actually that you are being initiated into an occultic group. There is no two ways about it. I cannot go through such processes and then I still believe that I'm a child of God. It's not possible. It is not possible. And because these occultic people, majority of them are actually into that knighthood. The majority of them are in the knighthood in the Catholic Church. That is where we are having problem. That is where we are having problem. They are now doing otherwise. The reason for that knighthood in the church is no longer what they are practicing. It is just like now, it is just like a ceremonial something these days. Like a ceremonial something. I have seen a lot of young girls, younger than me, like 10 years younger than me, with their husbands who might be my age mates, and they will tell you that they are members of the Knights. And what criteria does church use, to bring in members? Young couples that have like 2 babies. When I mean 2 babies, I mean the newborn and someone who is 2 years of age. What experience do they have in marriage? What experience do they have in church for them to become members of the Knights? And when I ask them, they'll tell me that they actually paid 1 million naira to become knight and lady. It makes no sense. And when you see their practices, it is actually occultic practices, but they cover it with the umbrella of the church. So I always say this, I've even discussed this with a priest. It is, if it's possible for the Catholic Church to look into this knighthood of a thing, if it's possible for them to do so, let them do so. It needs to be purified and sanctified. Everybody cannot be a member of the Knights. But for you to be a member of the Knights, you must have attained a certain level in the church. You must have done so well for the church for you to merit that knighthood. Not a little girl getting married today, and because the husband is wealthy, both of them will go into knighthood immediately. That is why it looks somehow. Somebody actually brought a report. A member of the Knights brought a report. This man is well advanced in age. He should be like in his early 70s. But he was sick and was actually admitted in the hospital. And he was in the hospital for close to 2 weeks without anybody visiting him from the so-called knighthood. Nobody visited him. And when he came out and attended their meeting, and he discovered that they actually didn't visit him because he didn't have the money. He didn't have money. He didn't belong to whatever they belong. They are just members of Knight. But whatever they belong to, he didn't belong to that. and that is why nobody visited. And so he brought that report for church to look into it. For church to look into it. So such things, to me, are occultic group until the church proves otherwise. Such groups, to me, are occultic groups. They will not help you as long as you are not one of them. They will not help you at all. For them to help you, you must belong. And that is how every occult group works. It doesn't matter whether you help that person at the early stage of that person's life, you helped the person, you gave the person money, you raised the person up, and now the person has actually been lifted up. It is now the person's turn to help you. It doesn't work that way. If you are not one of them, you will not get that help from them. You won't get it. So you have to open your eyes, know where you are going to, know whom you are rolling with, know where to ask for help. You don't have to ask for help from everywhere. Be careful when you are receiving help from people. You ask for help and the help is coming. Be careful where you are receiving the help from. A lot of people have been initiated all in the name of receiving help from people. There are terms and conditions. You give me this and I take this. If you accept, you have joined them. So let's be careful, because I know that this season that we are approaching, you will see a lot of them. You are going to see a lot of them. That is, if you actually pay attention. If your spiritual mind is actually awake, you pay attention. So if you have any question, please you ask. If you have any question, write it down. Write it down. Let's look into it. So many things are happening in the world, but our present generation do not believe that there are things called occultic. Jake, yes, I'm a Catholic, and a very strong one at that. A very strong Catholic. I'm in Owerri, I base in Owerri, and my parish is here. So bring up your questions, please. Bring up your questions. Thank you, Nosa. You are welcome. Bring up your questions. Let's look into it. No, Jake, I'm not actually speaking to the wrong audience. Teaching is for everybody. It has no age limit, except babies. Teaching is for everybody. It all depends whether people want to hear it or not. Teaching is meant for everybody. I am a spiritualist, and I'm not limited to people who actually wants to hear me. Of course, there are a lot of people that will oppose to whatever I teach, and it's none of my business. I've been called to do that, and I will do it. So that's how it is. Quentus, what is it to find out about spiritual help is of different types. If you are talking about the process to find out about spiritual help, which spiritual help are you talking of? There are so many spiritual problems. Which spiritual help? Is it the spiritual help for this topic about the occult people? Is it the spiritual help? Is that what you mean? Jake, if you are the type that covers a church even when the church does something bad, I am not that type. If you know me too well in my parish, this is what I am known for. If I see anything bad, I will open my mouth and talk. After saying that, if people wants to take, or if the priest wants to, listen to me, no problem. If he doesn't, no problem. But I will say my mind. I don't cover evil, Jake. I don't. And when you see me doing something bad, your duty is to remind me that I'm doing something bad. You don't cover evil to protect the name of something or anything. No. It is written nowhere in the Bible. You don't do that. Call evil evil. Call a spade a spade. That knighthood has to do with Catholic Church, and I'm a Catholic, doesn't mean that I will have to cover their bad behaviors. I will not do that. Okay? Knighthood or Catholic Church didn't call me spiritually. It is God that called me, and there is a reason that why God called me. He actually called me to do his will, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Thank you. No, sir. God bless you. Okay, Quintus, okay, you said spiritual help generally. Generally, it, it depends on the spiritual help you are talking about, you know. There are so many spiritual problems, and the spiritual help for this particular problem is not the same as the spiritual help for this particular problem. So it depends on the problem that one is passing through. All right? Of course, I am talking about a group of people. I am talking about a group of people. The knighthood, that's what I am talking about. Thank you, Chinonye. They are, the more you look, the less you see. That's what they are. A lot of people see them from afar, and when you see them from afar, you will like them. You will want to be one of them. But I've actually come in contact with some of them one on one, and I interacted with these people because I actually want to know what they are doing for the church. The knighthood, from what I have heard so far, from the time it started, their duty was actually to protect the church during war. These knights will actually protect the church during war. That is their duty. But then there is no longer war. Yes, we still have them. It's not that we are supposed to abolish them, but they're actually not doing their duty to protect the church anymore. It has become a more of a social club. That's what it is. Quintus, the fee for consultation for marriage difficulties. I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean the fee for consultation for marriage difficulties. If you are having marriage difficulties, what you are supposed to do is to inbox me. It's not something we can discuss here live because this has to do with your personal life. So you have to inbox me. Let's talk about that. But I don't understand what you mean by fee for consultation. Okay, so bring up your questions, please. Bring up your questions. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Please, whatever I teach, I will want you to go into investigation. That is what I always say. If after teaching anything here, you have every right to go elsewhere and make inquiry. I always say this, people no longer ask questions. You don't ask. People don't ask questions. Go elsewhere, make investigations, ask questions, get your own findings. Before I come up to teach anything online, it's either I receive that teaching from the Holy Spirit or I must have investigated on that thing before I come up to teach. You know, in such groups, it depends on the church. If the church wants to abolish them, it depends on them. It depends on them. But the church needs to look into such groups, look into them and see if the church actually needs their help. Bring up your questions. If you have any question to ask, I'm still waiting for your questions. Bring up your questions, please. And help me share this live stream. Double tap to like. Double tap your screen to like, okay? And share the live stream. A lot of things are going wrong in our society. And people don't like talking about it. Nobody likes talking about it. As long as it doesn't affect you, it's no problem. If it affects somebody else, it's no problem. Let the person sort it out. But they are all wrong. So many things are going wrong, even in the house of God. So many things are going wrong in our society, in our different families. And this issue of trying to cover up something for people, we actually face such things in families. We face it when a family is into immoral acts, into so many crimes. It's either the parents will be covering up so that nobody will know. So that nobody will know that their children are into this, that their children are behaving. They'll keep on. When you cover evil, evil will actually cover you at the end. But when you expose evil, you handle that issue, and that evil will flee. Bring up your questions. Bring up your questions. Before you join anything in life, this topic is still based on occult group. Before you join anything in life, ask questions very well. Ask questions very well. There are so many groups. I know of a particular group that ladies belong to. Ladies who actually, they say that they are ladies that wants to help their fellow women. It's more of a social club. That is what they called it. But this is an occult group, mainly for ladies of different ages. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be poor for you to join. No matter your status in life, you are free to join if you want to join them. And for you to join this group, when you show interest that you want to join them, because what they are portraying is that they are helping those who are in need. When you join, they are going to give you a form for you to fill. I believe this form thing is everywhere in every society. You fill the form and you fill your next of kin in that form. And that next of kin, according to somebody who was once a member of that so-called social club, according to that person, that next of kin is the next person that you are to sacrifice, but you will not know. Just like civil servants, when you are filling your record of service, that big form, there is a column for next of kin. It is so with everything, even in banks. It is so, and so it is with this occult group that ladies belong. You are going to fill in your next of kin, but according to the person who was once a member, she said that next of kin will be the next sacrifice. And so she actually left that group because she has actually sacrificed one of her children and doesn't want anymore. And so she left. She left the group. But when you leave the group, according to her, whatsoever that you have acquired in life will be taken away from you, because you actually didn't get all those things with a clean money. You actually got them through the powers of that occult group. All these occult groups belongs to the devil. So if you want to join anything in life, any group, any society whatsoever, make sure you ask questions very well and read every form thoroughly, every form that you're supposed to fill. Read every form thoroughly. I know no man is an island. It's not possible for you to stay without belonging to somewhere, but it depends on where you want to belong to, because I know that some of us actually desire to be members of these occult groups. That is what they want, so that they will gain all those things that they don't have. So for those who still have conscience, who still have human feelings, who still have value for life, who still worship God and believe in Him, whatsoever you want to join in life, ask questions properly. Ask questions very well. If they don't give you a clear answer to the question that you ask, please do not join. Do not join. So I'm still waiting for your questions. I'm still waiting for your questions. Bring up your questions if you have any question. I'm going to end this live stream by 9 p.m. Bring up your questions. Bring up your questions. I'm still waiting. Okay, so in the absence of any question, I have no choice but to end this live stream. Mbosowo, good evening. You are joining us so late, but you are still welcome. I'm actually about ending the live stream. I want to thank you all, everybody who is here with us. Oh, Quintus, when did you, is it today that you tried to contact me? You didn't give me any notice that you will call me. I'm not aware of that. Because I know that those that were supposed to contact me today, I was on call with some of them, although I didn't see I saw missed calls from others. I don't know, I'm not sure if I have your contact, because I have the contacts of those people. Okay? I'm not sure I have your contact. But for everybody that I needed to speak with, I think it was only one person that I didn't speak with. I spoke with the rest. Romeo, you're welcome. How are you? I'm actually ending the live stream. So I want to thank you all. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I don't know when I will come up live again. I'm not so sure. I might come up live tomorrow night. I might come up live next tomorrow. I'm not really sure. But if I don't come up live tomorrow, being Sunday night, then I'll come up live on Monday night. But in whatever you are doing in life, please be careful. Be very careful. Do not sell your conscience for anything. Do not sell your pride. Okay? Be very careful. Watch your footsteps. Watch your lifestyle. Do the best that you can do. And I pray that God will bless each and every one of us and grant us our good heart desires in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Thank you all so much. God bless you and good night.